Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and enjoy my new stories every day. The gentle hum of the downtown cafe was usually a calming backdrop for our weekend coffee dates, but today, an unsettling tension hung in the air. Grace, my wife of 10 years, seemed distracted, her gaze flitting nervously around the room, barely touching her espresso. I tried to make light conversation, hoping to ease whatever was on her mind, but each attempt faded into the clink of cups and low murmur of other patrons. As I reached for my cup, a gleam of white caught my eye on the patterned floor, a business card. Curiosity piqued, I picked it up, smoothing it out between my fingers. Grace's reaction was instantaneous and stark, she flinched as if the card burned her. I turned it over, and my heart skipped. It was a private investigator's business card, with a phone number printed boldly across it. Questions raced through my mind, but one impulse overrode them all, to find out more. Excusing myself, I feigned a need to wash my hands and headed for the restroom with the card and Grace's phone in hand. Locked in the solitude of the bathroom stall, I typed out a message, impersonating Grace, "Good afternoon, how's the case going?" The reply came faster than my racing heartbeat, "Following up now. The person is currently at a restaurant drinking wine." A cold wave of realization washed over me. Grace was here, with me. The implications twisted my stomach into knots. Exiting the bathroom, I returned to our table with a plastered smile. Grace's face was pale, her eyes avoiding mine. I sat, my mind a tumultuous sea of betrayal and shock. My wife, the woman I had loved and trusted, was not only cheating on me but had also unleashed a private investigator on her lover. The depth of deceit sliced through me. Why? How long had she been living this double life? And who exactly was she investigating? The rest of our coffee date passed in a haze. I responded mechanically, my thoughts far away. Grace seemed relieved when I suggested we head home early, perhaps thinking she had evaded whatever suspicions I might have harbored. But as we walked back to our car, a plan began to form in my mind. If Grace could orchestrate such a charade, I too could play the game. Revenge, a concept so foreign to me before, now pulsed through my veins with a clarity that frightened me. This wasn't just about confronting Grace or salvaging our marriage. It was about retribution for the years of lies, for the trust shattered on the tiled floor of a cozy cafe alongside a discarded business card. As we drove home, the city lights blurred past, each one igniting the resolve in me. Grace had her secrets, and now, I would have mine. This was just the beginning, and the truth, however twisted it might be, would come to light. The intrigue of our twisted love story had just begun to unfold, and I was no longer just a participant, I was a contender. The end of our marriage was the only conceivable finale on this path of vengeance and revelation. The following days bleed into one another, each moment strung with the tension of unsaid words. Grace's behavior grows increasingly erratic, her phone almost always in her clutch, her eyes darting nervously whenever it buzzes. My resolve to uncover the full extent of her deception deepens with her every furtive glance. On a cool Thursday evening, I decide to confront the private investigator directly. Armed with the business card I found, I dial the number and arrange a meeting under the guise of being a potential client concerned about my spouse's fidelity. The irony of the situation isn't lost on me. We meet at a dimly lit bar downtown, the kind of place where secrets are both hidden and revealed. The investigator, a middle-aged man with a weary gaze, introduces himself as Hank. I cut straight to the chase. "I need to know who hired you recently to follow someone," I demand, sliding a photo of Grace across the table. Hank hesitates, his professional ethics clashing with the wad of cash I place next to the photo. Eventually, money speaks louder than codes, and he nods, taking a deep breath. "Your wife hired me," he admits, his voice low. "She suspects her lover of cheating with someone else. Wanted me to track him during his business trips." The revelation hits me with a mix of shock and vindication. Not only is Grace cheating, but she's also entangled in a web of her own insecurities and suspicions about her lover. Where is he now? I press, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. At a hotel downtown. The Fairmont, Hank replies, scribbling down the room number on a piece of napkin. Armed with this new information, I leave the bar with a plan. The night air feels crisp against my skin, a stark contrast to the heat of the anger brewing within me. I drive to the hotel, my mind racing as fast as my heart. I park across the street, watching the entrance, the weight of the room key Hank provided feeling heavy in my pocket. After an hour of waiting, I see him, a man whose face I recognize from photos on Grace's phone, laughing as he enters the hotel. He's not alone. A woman, not Grace, is clinging to his arm. They disappear into the lobby, oblivious to the storm they're about to enter. Fueled by a tumultuous mix of betrayal and the need for closure, I cross the street and enter the hotel. The elevator ride to the 6th floor is the longest ascent of my life. As I stand before room 614, my heart thuds painfully against my ribs. I slide the key into the lock, my hand steady despite the adrenaline. The door swings open to reveal a scene of casual betrayal, the man from the lobby and his companion, entwined in a way that leaves no room for doubt. They spring apart at my entrance, shock etched on their faces. "What the hell?" the man stammers, reaching for a robe. "I should ask you the same," I retort, my gaze icy. The woman grabs her clothing, scrambling to cover herself as she recognizes the fury in my eyes. "This isn't what it looks like," she begins, but I wave her off. "Save it. I'm not here for you." Turning to the man, who now stands awkwardly by the bed, I deliver my message with venom-tipped words. "Tell Grace she'll be hearing from my lawyer." With that, I turn and leave, the sound of their panicked voices trailing behind me. The night air hits me like a wave as I step outside, the initial rush of confrontation giving way to a hollow victory. Grace's betrayal is confirmed, and my path forward is clear. The war of shadows has just begun, and I am no longer just a bystander. My revenge, meticulously planned and righteously earned, will unfold one painful truth at a time. The morning after the hotel encounter, the sky is overcast, mirroring the storm brewing within our household. Grace's usual morning routine is disrupted when I walk into the kitchen, my expression grim, my resolve steeled for the confrontation that is to ensue. She looks up from her coffee, her face registering a mix of confusion and apprehension at my early return. "Back so soon? I thought you had a business trip," she murmurs, trying to mask her nervousness with casual curiosity. I slam the keys on the counter, leaning in close. "Cut the act, Grace. I know everything." Her face blanches, her coffee cup clattering against the saucer. "What are you talking about?" "The investigator, the hotel rendezvous last night. I saw him, Grace. With her." Each word slices through the tense air, heavy with betrayal. Grace stands, her chair scraping back. "I can explain." "What?" "How you lied. How you cheated. How you hired someone to spy on your lover because even he couldn't be trusted." My voice rises, fueled by a mix of hurt and anger. She tries to reach out, her eyes welling up. "I was going to tell you. It's not what you think." I was confused, lost. "Save your excuses. They mean nothing now." I step back, distancing myself from the woman I no longer recognize. "What do you want from me?" Her voice cracks, a mix of desperation and fear creeping into her tone. "I want a divorce, Grace. And I want you out of my life, for good." The finality of my words hangs heavy between us. The room fills with a charged silence, the kind that precedes a storm. Grace's demeanor shifts then, her sorrow swiftly replaced by anger. "You think you can just throw me out? I won't go down without a fight, believe me." "Fight? You've already lost, Grace. I have everything documented, photos, messages. You've ruined us with your deceit." Her defiance falters as the reality of her situation sinks in. So, this is it. You throw me out based on some evidence, which I'm more than willing to use. I interrupt, my tone icy. For a moment, she looks as if she might argue further, but resignation dulls her features. She nods slowly, her fight dissipating as the magnitude of her missteps dawns on her. I'll pack my things. The next hours are a blur of movement and muffled conversations. Grace moves through the house like a ghost, her presence a stark reminder of the life we once shared. When the door finally closes behind her, the echo of its slam reverberates through the now empty house. In the silence that follows, the weight of my actions settles on my shoulders. Revenge has been exacted, but the taste is bitter. The house feels colder, emptier, a shell of the home it used to be. Sitting alone in the quiet aftermath, I ponder the ruins of our relationship. The path of retribution seemed clear, driven by the need to right the wrongs and punish betrayal. Yet, as the dust settles, I find no peace, only the hollow victory of a man who lost everything in his quest for justice. The narrative of our lives remains open, the chapters of recovery yet to be written. As I look towards a future without Grace, I realize that this is just another beginning, one that starts with a man learning to live with his decisions, and perhaps, in time, to forgive not just her, but himself. The intrigue of our marriage's demise holds lessons I'm only beginning to understand, each more painful than the last. In the weeks following Grace's departure, the silence of the house serves as a constant reminder of the void she left behind. Yet, the peace I expected to find in her absence eludes me, replaced instead by a simmering rage that refuses to subside. The betrayal, now an open wound, festers with every memory of our life together. One chilly evening, as I sift through the remnants of what we once shared, I find an old digital frame that hadn't been turned on in years. Curious and masochistic, I power it up. The screen flickers to life, displaying photos of our happier times, vacations, family gatherings, intimate moments meant just for us. Each image is a blade to my heart, but it's the video that catches me off guard. It's a video of Grace, looking directly into the camera. If you're watching this, then things have gone terribly wrong, she begins, her eyes brimming with unshed tears. There's something you need to know about everything that's happened. The gravity in her tone pins me in place. She confesses. Not just to the affair, but to the reasons behind it, a tangled web of emotional neglect, loneliness, and desperation. She speaks of her guilt, her regret, and her love for me, even through her mistakes. But it's the revelation of her terminal illness, hidden from me to spare me pain, that strikes the devastating blow. The investigator wasn't hired to track her lover but rather to investigate an obscure treatment abroad, a last hope she pursued in secret. The video ends with her apology, her wish for my happiness long after she's gone. I'm left reeling, the device slipping through my numb fingers to the floor. The truth reshapes the landscape of my grief and anger into something monstrous, unrecognizable. I had driven away a dying woman who loved me, consumed by my vengeance. The weight of this realization is suffocating. Days blend into nights as I plot a closure to our tragic narrative. If I can't have peace, neither will she, or anyone entwined in our debacle. I decide to confront her one last time, to face the ghosts that haunt our every corner. I track her down to a small, nondescript cabin by the lake where she's spending her final days. The fall chill bites as I approach, the crunch of leaves underfoot sounding like accusations. I knock, she answers, her frame frail, her gaze weary yet resigned. Why are you here? Grace's voice is a mere whisper, strained but not surprised. To end this, I reply, my voice hollow, reflecting the void inside. She nods slowly, a sad smile playing on her lips. I never wanted this for us. I know. And I do, now. But the knowledge comes too late, the cost too high. We talk, more honestly than ever before, about everything we had, everything we lost. But as the sun sets, Casting long shadows over the lake, I make a final, cruel decision. I reveal that I've exposed her secrets, her affair, and her illness to everyone we know, her family, friends, even her lover. I watched as her world crumbled, ensuring her isolation. Grace listens, her face pale, her body trembling not from illness but from the betrayal anew. Tears spill over, but she doesn't sob. She simply turns away, looking out at the lake, her voice a mere echo. I forgive you, even now. I leave her there, by the window, a silhouette of despair. As I drive away, the darkness isn't just around me, it's within, an endless night. I realize the cruelest part isn't what I did to her, it's what I've done to myself. I've become a man I no longer recognize, driven by hatred, capable of immense cruelty. The news comes days later. Grace passed quietly, alone. And in her silence, I find no victory, only an overwhelming defeat. The house, once filled with laughter, now echoes with the ghosts of my own making. In my ruthless quest for revenge, I've not only destroyed Grace's life but also the remnants of the man I once was. In the end, I sit amidst the ruins of a life once cherished, a heart once full. The punishment I exacted on her pales in comparison to the sentence I've imposed on myself, living, but not alive, haunted forever by the ghosts of what could have been.